Remembering is difficult. Remembering what sort of friendships have value is difficult. Remembering that all things will pass, and so one should exercise patience, is difficult. It also depends on the value of the thing that you want to remember. It's like you've done something, you've experienced something, and it inspires you, excites you. And then I suppose as you disengage to just go do other things, you say to yourself, okay, I'll go back to it in an hour or next week. But sometimes the experience and the feelings that it creates, it's too much. Add to it the fact that life just kind of gets busy. And thinking is hard, and feeling is hard. There has to be so much pain inside you that, it's, let's say you've been in a relationship for, 3, 4, 5 years, and one day you have this disagreement that turns into a fight, and either you slam the door and leave, or he slams the door, she slams the door and leaves. And there is so much uncertainty, there is so much pain, there is so much intimacy involved that it's difficult to go to sleep. You want to, your body cries for sleep, but it just won't happen. And days pass, the person doesn't come home, and you do want to forget, but you can't. Since you spoke about Jesus, I think one of the most fascinating things, when Judas comes to realize that he has betrayed Jesus and he wronged him, he wronged his teacher, he can't forget. The only way that he can forget is just to hang himself, just to die. The pain is far too great. And when there is pain, you have this reflection of yourself. You see yourself and you don't like it. It's too much. And it's, in some ways, it's good to forget. It's good that your life is full enough and rich enough to be able to distract yourself, and then you forget. But if the thing that you have forgotten has some value, it's bound to come back in some shape or form. If you take just very ordinary experiences of life, such as like a toothache, if it's hitting the nerve, it's very, very difficult to forget that you have this ache, and it robs you of everything. It robs you of sleep, of eating, of having fun, of getting together with your buddies. That's really the only way that you could keep yourself from forgetting a good amount of pain. And we are very intimate with our physical bodies, so when our bodies goes through something, we have no choice but to kind of be pushed around by what the body pushes you into experience. But when it comes to other aspects of life where it's more emotional, more intellectual, you need to have a good amount of relationship with the thing. And that relationship needs to be intense enough, intimate enough. It needs to contain a good amount of history where there is attachment. And when there is a distance between you and the thing to which you're attached, there is a good amount of pain, and the pain forces you to remember. The idea of know thyself, it's such a ridiculous thing to say and to impose on people. I had a friend a long time ago. She used to come to the house, and she liked this salad that Sarah used to make. And after many times of having this particular dish, she looks at her and says, "Can I have the recipe? I want to know how to make it." Of course, she wrote down the recipe. She never made it. Sometimes it's not because you know anything, and it's not because you actually want to know. You're inspired, and it's very different than actually wanting to know. It takes a while to get to this ripe or mature stage where you actually have transcended curiosity and mere casual interest to go on this journey to actually want to know something. The other part of knowing is, you can know something in abstract, in theory, and You can know something pragmatically in application. And these are two very, very different things. All of us when we were younger and much more naive and with zero experience, we fantasized about love. We knew what love was because we wrote poetry, because we longed for a companion, or at least we read poems about it. And so we would go around telling people how much we know, and then we actually get into a relationship and we actually do fall in love. And it gets tested, and you realize how painful it really is. So, this idea where you want to remember to know thyself, whatever that may mean, first you need to understand that getting to know anything is a journey. You have to kind of be on this journey for many, many, many years to be tested so that you can know for yourself at least if your desire to know is simply at a stage of curiosity or interest. And if you have passed those stages, the next question is, well, how much really is your capacity? How far can you go into knowing? And you can't really know the entire thing because we're all limited by emotional, physical, intellectual capacities, time, geography, how much information is out there, how much information we can actually process. So when you ask about remembering and knowing how to keep the remembering alive, you really have to be driven, and I'm not really quite sure how that works.